Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. Have you ever stood on the banks of the river Ganga and wondered how this massive powerful river actually came to be here? To most of us, she is Mother Ganga, a symbol of purity and life. But did you know that the story of her arrival on earth is one of the most intense sagas of human willpower, divine power and a struggle that lasted for generations? It wasn't just a simple flow of water. It was a cosmic event that shook the heavens and the earth. To understand this, we have to go back thousands of years to the kingdom of Ayodhya, ruled by a powerful king named Sagara. Once, King Sagara was performing a grand ritual called Aswamedha Yajna to prove his supremacy. In this ritual, a horse is set free to wander, and wherever it goes, that land belongs to the king. But Indra, the king of the heavens, grew jealous. He feared Sagara's growing power, so he stole the sacrificial horse and hid it deep underground in the netherworld, right next to the ashram of a great sage named Kapila, who was in deep meditation. When the horse went missing, Sagara's 60,000 sons went out to find it. They were arrogant and destructive, literally digging up the earth in their search. Eventually, they reached the netherworld and found the horse near sage Kapila. They wrongly accused the holy man of theft and attacked him. But what happens when you disturb a sage in deep meditation? Sage Kapila opened his eyes, and the fire of his penance was so strong that all 60,000 suns were burned to ashes instantly. Their souls were trapped in a state of unrest, unable to reach heaven. Because they hadn't received proper funeral rites, how could these 60,000 souls ever find peace? The answer came from the sage Kapila himself. He said that only the celestial river Ganga, which then flowed only in the heavens, could purify their ashes and liberate their souls. But bringing a heavenly river to earth was considered an impossible task. Generations of kings tried and failed. Sagara's grandson Amsuman spent 32,000 years in the Himalayas praying, but he couldn't do it. His son Dilipa also tried for 30,000 years, but he too passed away without seeing the Ganga. It felt like a cursed mission. This is where our hero King Bhagiratha enters the story. He realized that as a king, his biggest duty wasn't just ruling the land, but saving his ancestors. He handed over his kingdom to his ministers and went to the Himalayas to do what no one else could. And this brings us to a term we still use today in India, Bhageeratha Prayatnam. But what does it really mean? In simple words, it means an extraordinary superhuman effort. Bhageeratha didn't just pray for a few days. He performed extreme penance for 1,000 years. He stood in the middle of fires under the hot sun in summer and stayed in freezing water during winter, living only on air. His determination was so solid that finally, the creator Lord Brahma appeared and granted him a boon. Bhageeratha asked for the Ganga to descend to earth. Brahma agreed, but he gave a terrifying warning. He said that the earth is too fragile. If Ganga falls directly from the heavens, her speed and weight would be so massive that she would shatter the crust of the earth and wash everything away into the netherworld. He told Bhageeratha that only one person in the entire universe had the strength to catch her and break her fall, that is Lord Shiva. So Bhageeratha began another round of intense prayer to please Lord Shiva. For another year, he stood on one toe, completely still, focusing all his energy on the great yogi Lord Shiva. Shiva, impressed by this young king's selflessness, agreed to help. But Ganga herself was not happy. Did you know that Ganga was the daughter of the king of the mountains Himavan and the elder sister of goddess Parvati? In her youth, she lived in heaven to soothe the gods, and she had grown quite proud. In her arrogance, she decided she would fall with such a roar and such speed that she would sweep Shiva himself away into the depths of the earth. But how powerful was Ganga's arrival onto earth? When the moment finally came, the sight was beyond imagination. The gods, sages, and celestial beings gathered in their flying chariots to witness the event. And the sky was so bright it felt as if 1,000 suns had risen at once. As the water plummeted from the heavens, the sky turned white with froth and foam, looking like the silver clouds of a beautiful autumn day. Thousands of aquatic creatures like fish, dolphins, and turtles fell along with the water, and as the sunlight hit them, they looked like falling stars or lightning bolts in the sky. Ganga came down with all her ego and velocity, aiming straight for Shiva's head. But Shiva knew what she was thinking. As the massive torrent of water hit him, He simply spread his long matted hair called his Jata. Instead of sweeping him away, Ganga found herself trapped. She wandered through the labyrinth of his matted hair for years, unable to find a way out. Her pride was completely crushed. Why did Shiva keep Ganga in his hair? It was for two reasons. First, he needed to act as a buffer to save the earth from being destroyed by her impact. Second, he wanted to teach her humility, to show her that even the greatest power must be controlled and used for the benefits of others. Bhageeratha, seeing the river had disappeared into Shiva's hair, he prayed to Shiva once more. Seeing the king's devotion and the river's now humbled spirit, Shiva finally shook his hair and released Ganga in 7 different streams. Have you ever wondered where those 7 paths lead? 3 of them, known as Hiladini, Nalini, and Pavani, flowed towards the east to sanctify distant lands. 3 more, known as Sita, Kakshu, and Sindhu, flowed towards the west. But the seventh stream, the most precious one, followed Bhageeratha's chariot to the south. As Bhageeratha rode his chariot across the plains of India, the Ganga followed him like a loyal daughter. But the journey wasn't over yet. Her speed was still so great that she accidentally flooded the ashram of another powerful sage named Jahnu. Enraged by the disturbance, Sage Jahnu simply picked up the entire river and swallowed her in one gulp. Once again, Bhageeratha had to plead and explain his mission. The sage eventually relented and released her through his ear. Because of this second birth from the sage, she earned the name Jahnavi. Finally, the river reached the spot where the ashes of the 60,000 sons lay. As the holy water soaked into that pile of dust, a miracle happened. The 60,000 souls didn't just find peace. They were transformed into divine beings and rose to the heavens in glowing chariots. This massive trench they had dug centuries ago was filled by the river Ganga. And that is how the ocean was formed, which we now call Sagara in honor of the king who started it all. So when we look at the Ganga today, we are not just looking at water. We are looking at the result of Bhageeratha Prayatnam, the ultimate example of how persistence can move even the gods. We see the discipline of Lord Shiva who tamed the wild energy of the heavens to make it a blessing for us. The story tells us that great things are never easy. They require the sacrifice of people like Bhageeratha and the protection of someone like Shiva. Today, places like Gangotri, where she first touched the earth, and Haridwar, where she enters the plains, remind us of this epic journey. The story of Ganga's arrival is a reminder that purity and grace are available to all of us. But they were brought here through a struggle that shook the very foundations of the universe. I hope you found this story of Mother Ganga inspiring. If you like this video, just like it, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon for notifications. Thanks for watching. Om Namah Shivaya.